Hi, and welcome to Soda Talk, a podcast with filmmakers about filmmakers. I'm Robert Thomas. Today, I am joined by producer Ashlyn Farney.
That's me.
That's you. And our guest is...
Lainey Caldwell, and I am a graduating filmmaker.
Yeah, you are. So, Lainey, you are a filmmaker.
That I am, primarily editing.
Primarily has been your focus. Mm-hmm. How did you come to editing?
In high school, I did broadcast, was an editing producer for our team. Just kind of always something that's came naturally to me and I've had interest in. So bringing it into college, working on it.
Hey, producer.
Yeah.
Is her microphone just blocking her entire face right now?
There's a good chance it is.
It's like her
We can lower
nose, mouth area.
Do you want to come and help her?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. Yeah, that looks more like a microphone.
Who was interviewed before me? Was it Mason?
No, Piper.
Oh, I wonder why it was that high.
I don't know.
Because that's why I said Mason, because it would make sense that Mason's was very tall.
We are ready to start again.
Cool. So, Lainey, you're a filmmaker. You've been focusing on editing while you're here. How did you come to film? Like, as a child, were you making movies? Did you find it later in life? What's your backstory?
Yeah, so I actually did broadcast journalism in high school. Was really into that. Thought I was going to go the journalism route, but in looking into college programs, I was like, I don't want to go do local news forever.
What didn't excite you about that?
My thing was more I enjoyed telling people stories, but I liked the creative side of things and being artistic with it. So my stories often had some sort of element like that. I always liked doing the trips that we would do to different competitions where we would make movies and do some of that stuff. And so I just knew that I was not going to enjoy being in a newsroom and doing that on a weekly basis. And I wanted to do something more creative with storytelling. And so that's how I found film. And so started looking into film programs and found Wichita State and came here.
What was your first time here? Like, did you tour?
I toured, yes. So I had heard about the program through a family friend who their son was coming here to do film. And I had no idea that Wichita State had film because, like, I was struggling to find filmmaking programs and not, like, film studies.
Yeah, film criticism.
In the Midwest because I didn't want to go to a coast. And so toured campus, toured the studios, and just thought it was a really cool facility, and I felt like it was going to be a place where I could grow in film. So I don't remember if we got contact. I feel like my dad somehow got a contact with Justin.
Yeah.
And was able to set up a tour with Justin. 'Cause, like, I don't think I would have known about this program if it wasn't for our family friend. Like, 'cause I was looking at, like...
Who was the family friend?
Josh Franklin. He dropped out like 2 years in.
Okay.
I don't know if you would know him or not. You might have had a class with him.
The name sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh.
But yeah, so because doing online research, like I was looking at Central Arkansas and stuff, and I didn't totally want to go that far, but if I had to, I was going to. But
Sure.
And so thank God I found here.
When you came here, did you think editing was going to be your focus?
My primary thought going into college and doing film was to make documentaries. It was going to be a way that I could keep my human interest.
Yeah, your journalism interest.
But do it more artistically and creatively.
Sure.
And kind of more long format. But through my time here, did absolutely no documentary work. Got more into the creative fictional storytelling. Ended up doing a lot of editing. I've just always enjoyed it, and people realized that I was pretty good at it, so would hire me to do things, and so yeah.
Very cool. So looking at your time as a filmmaker, what are some of those projects that maybe shaped you or taught you hard lessons that kind of are your benchmarks along your timeline?
You want like specific projects?
Yeah. Like, first off, did you do any film projects before you came to college?
I did some in high school.
Okay, what were they?
Like we would do For State, the broadcast competition, like high school competition, and there was like 72-hour, we could either do a music video or a short film, and so I would always do the short. I think I did the music video like once, but I would usually do the short film. And so I feel like first really film I was part of was like a ghost adventure kind of found footage thing.
Cool.
I actually acted in it. 'Cause
Nice.
we were like a group of 5 of us, so we kind of had to.
Everyone did everything. Yeah.
And like that experience, I specifically remember being like, this is so cool. I want to do more of this. This is where I feel like I can show how creative I am. And so I think that specific, because that was my senior year that we did that. And I think that really was like, okay, I could make film work for my future.
Yeah.
I did a lot of little class stuff. And like, I didn't have a whole lot of connections earlier on in school with like projects and being on outside of class projects. But doing Compendium, the big collaboration the studios did with the theater department this last winter, or was it spring? It was spring.
Spring.
Gosh, time flies. I was a assistant director for that, and I felt like that's when I was really on a big set experiencing those kinds of professional environments, even though it was all students. Like, it was handled professionally.
Yeah.
And that project, like, I was really proud to be a part of that project. Like, I think it turned out really cool. And
you were also one of the editors
I was
on
one
that.
of the editors as well, yes. So it was, I think that project kind of showed me that I'm capable of things.
So from Compendium, you then worked on Do It Again.
I was kind of a few different things on Do It Again, I feel like. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they all had official roles.
Sure.
But, I was very much on set for a lot of that. I was editor for that. But yeah, that project was really cool too, because that was, I want to say outside of the studios. Like, it was a lot of students involved, but it wasn't affiliated with the studios.
Sure.
And so getting experience there was kind of neat. And working with, again, like, super professional environment, and it was a learning environment as well. And yeah, working with you on that was a lot of fun. I think that was kind of the first time we really worked on something together. We kind of did on Compendium.
Yeah.
But I think Do It Again was where we were like, yeah, let's.
For sure.
This works.
For sure.
And then, yeah, just recently did Forest Fatalities.
Yeah, you did.
That was a lot of fun. I did a lot of things on that.
What did you do on that?
I was assistant director for that. I was camera operator / fill-in DP for one of the days. And then I also did some behind-the-scenes social media content as well. So, yeah, that set was really cool, and a really cool project doing vertical short-form episodic stories, or I guess one story in episodic form.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of social media and more of the commercial side of it, you've also been working for the local baseball team, Wind Surge, doing graphics at the games, right?
Yeah, so primarily I would run the big video board. So anything that went up on there, I was in control of. I also did work with the live broadcast, so doing graphics on that as well, and controlling those graphics. And that was really cool experience. I felt very in my element. I've had some background in sports, and I've always been a baseball fan. But being able to work in a control room and learning live entertainment was a neat experience and something I want to go into in the future.
So all of that led up to your Practicum 3, Operation Snow Day.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Do you want to know about all the before?
Well,
or the actual project?
First, I want you to pitch the project, and then I want to know everything.
So the project is a short film about a boy who is missing home. He's a new college student, He gets a postcard from his parents that has a little snowy scene on it. And there's a girl that's kind of crushing on him, sees that he loses the postcard, reads the postcard, then tries to make here feel more like home for him. And so then she fails and succeeds, and yeah, it kind of ends in a nice little moment.
Very cool. So how'd the project come about?
So originally I had a different idea for my project. Mental health and life scenarios came into play, and that project was not able to be done. So then was able to get hold of this script, and it was a script that had been filmed prior. We shot it on 16 millimeter film and lost all that footage.
Right.
So then was able to take the script and redo all of it and kind of put my own spin on it, so that story could come to life and be shared. So, yeah.
What takeaways did you have on the project? What did you learn from it?
A couple things. I learned how to ask people to help me on projects. I've always been asked to help on other people's projects, which I love when that happens.
Yeah.
But starting my own project and getting the help, I'm not as experienced in, so that was new for me. Also, I think learning that it's okay to not compare myself to other peers. I often do that, which is not the best, but realizing what I'm capable of is what I'm capable of, and it's okay if that's different from someone else.
Sure.
And I should be proud of what I'm doing.
Absolutely. I love that. So you primarily focused on editing while you were here. You did a lot of editing, a lot of really good editing, and your plan is to pursue editing as your career moving forward from here. So why, for your capstone Practicum 3 project, did you pick directing instead of editing? You also edited it
I did
very
edit it,
well.
yes, thank you.
Yeah. Why such a project?
I wanted to push myself. I felt like I wanted to end school with something that I showed I could learn from that experience. And I felt like if I did something I was super comfortable with, I was copping out. And so I wanted to make a project for my final.
Yeah.
And honestly, now having done it, I think it was ambitious. And like, I'm glad I did it because I learned from it. But I think I would have succeeded more if I did something that was in my comfort zone.
Why do you feel that way?
I think I could have done a better job on a skill that I know.
Sure.
And could show this is what I'm good at instead of I tried to learn something.
It's no secret that Justin really preaches the fact that, you all should be doing the thing that you do for your Prac 3. We don't want you running out, like trying to teach yourself a new software or, a whole new thing, because your Prac 3 should really be like your portfolio piece moving forward. I don't think that Operation Snow Day isn't successful, though. I think it really shows your skill as an editor, working with, stock assets, but making them feel custom and exactly right for the piece. Like, that's what a freelance editor, particularly in, the KC metro area, is going to be doing a lot of the time, is like, hey, the budget is, half what it should be, and we want it to be, 4 times greater than that. Make it good. So I think it shows a lot of your strengths. So
I think it also shows some of my weaknesses, though.
Okay. I can.
And I'm not saying I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
Like, I did push myself. I did make something that is out of my comfort zone, and I can show that to people and say that. And I'm like, I am happy I did that. But I don't know. I think there's still a little bit of doubt in me. Now, ask me a couple months from now, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, it was fine. But like, going off of not even a week after,
Yeah.
I'm still in my head about it.
I think in a way that's a positive thing, because I would hate to see any filmmaker, whether they're a student or not, like being satisfied with where they're at. Like, you should definitely have pride in what you're doing and, you know, have those moments of like, nice, that went right. But like, I feel like as soon as you become satisfied, you become complacent, and, you know, you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing, you're not getting that much better each time. And something that I've consistently seen with you in the 5 years that I've known you is that you're willing to push yourself into that harder, like, zone. Like you were saying, even if other people might look at it and be like, well, that's not a harder zone. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a harder zone for them or not. Like, it would be so easy for you to become complacent and just be all like, nope, I'm going to focus here. This is what I'm going to do. And you've refused to do that. And I think that's really cool. Showing your work as a filmmaker is like requires courage. It does, because it is so difficult in anything to sincerely give something to someone and say, this is my best. I know there are flaws. I can see them too, but this is the best for me for this day at this time. This is the best. I made it and I'm giving it to you. And that is terrifying.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely terrifying. But it's what you need to do, because you also grow from that. And like, if you had just shot the short and, you know, took notes and been all like, okay, next time I will do this, this, and this, and work on that, you would have gotten something out of that. But just putting it in front of other people whose opinions you care about, you suddenly look at it with whole new eyes and you're like, oh gosh, I thought that was okay. Oh man, why? Can I just get out of here right now? And chances are half of the things you're looking at being all like, everyone else completely missing, not on it at all. But you get those fresh eyes when you share it. And that's what makes you the better filmmaker. That's what, you know, you're going to take with you onto the next project and the project after that. Speaking of, what's next for you?
Next for me is going to be going back home. I'm from Olathe. And so Kansas City area has a lot of film growing.
Shout out KC.
Love KC. But yeah, so going to go back home, be there for a little while, find a job in sports media, hopefully. Working with the Wind Surge showed that I really do love that sport environment, and that live environment. So hopefully doing something for one of the teams in Kansas City, whether that's social media, whether that's promotional work, whether that's videos that go up on the boards in the game, like in the stadium. But yeah, that's kind of what I hope to do next. Also, always open to freelance editing, because that's easy for me to do from home and, you know, make some money on the side. But yeah, and I mean, like, there's a lot of opportunity now in Kansas City for even getting with a company that's freelance and just being their editor.
Yeah,
that's also something I'm looking into.
Where should people follow you, either to reach out for freelance editing or to just see what you're up to?
My Instagram is Lainey.Caldwell. That's a great place to see. I'm always posting on my stories and stuff, projects I'm up to.
Perfect.
So that's a great place.
Do you have any advice for people looking at film schools or maybe underclassmen in film schools?
My biggest piece of advice is first day you walk in, meet people, make connections. That's something I didn't do and I wish I did. Because like I was talking about Compendium, and Compendium being one of my first big projects. Well, that was my junior year of college.
Right.
Or senior year even. So getting on those projects early on and getting those experiences that are outside of class is so crucial to figuring out what you're good at, what you don't care for doing. Get on those and meet people.
Well, Lainey, I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and I have really enjoyed having you here, like, from when I was adjuncting all the way to being the head of the department.
I will always remind you that I knew you as adjunct.
You sure did. You're one of the last few. This has been a delight. Thank you so much for talking and being just open and honest. And I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for always having my back.
Always. So to Talk is a production of Wichita State University School of Digital Arts. I'm Robert Thomas. It is produced by the great Ashlyn Farney.
That's me.
And edited by the great Ashlyn Farney.
That's me.
Follow us on all of our social medias and hit that subscribe button and check that bell so you don't miss all the cool things our students are doing. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.